Please bear in mind that everything that I'm about to say, I'm saying it while only having seen the first part or the first half of the story. For those of you who don't know, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is only the first half. The story, the movie was so grand, it was so big that it was split into two. And the second half, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, we will not see it until next year, I believe March 23rd. So with that said, with that established, I have never been watching a movie and still be smack dab in the middle of it and thought to myself, this deserves to win the Best Picture Oscar. That is not a joke. I am 100% serious. I don't feel comfortable using the following word when referring to any kind of art in a serious conversation, especially a movie or a TV show. But this film is a masterpiece. So, if you're watching this video just to know whether this movie is good or not, there you go. This movie is good. If that's all you want to know, you can stop the video right now. However, if you want to continue to listen to my silly, rambling, fanboy opinions, by all means, stick around. Be warned, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, please stop the video here. This is a great movie, and all the ad revenue in the world wouldn't make me want to spoil it for anyone. Alright? Come back and you can watch the video later and make it up to me. But please watch the movie first. This is already one of the best movies I've seen this year, in the same year that Sisu and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out. Anyway, so I think it is perfectly appropriate that this movie features the first cinematic appearance of Spider-Punk, played by the great Daniel Kaluuya, the anti-establishment Spider-Man, because this movie takes the establishment, it takes all film conventions, all storytelling rules, all filmmaking rules, and tells them to go F themselves. The standard rule in Hollywood is that animated films shouldn't be longer than an hour and a half to 2 hours. In between there, between an hour and a half to 2 hours, no longer than that. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and it's amazing. It hooks you all the way through. The rhythm, the visuals, the tone, the pacing. It's just so perfect that those 2 hours and 20 minutes go by like that. When you become a filmmaker and you learn how to put sequences together, especially action sequences, there are certain rules and there are certain rhythms, and there's a certain beginning, middle, and end when it comes to making those kind of sequences. Again, this movie takes those very specific rules and just throws them out the window, and the action sequences feel very organic, especially when towards the beginning of the movie, when Miles is, well, all the action sequences, when Gwen and the other spider folk are fighting the Vulture, and when Miles is fighting the Spot, and then, of course, when Miles has that huge altercation with Miguel O'Hara and the rest of the Spider Society. This movie takes those rules that have been established for years, that you have seen in every single action movie you have ever seen, that you have gotten used to and acclimated to. It takes those rules and it throws them out the window, and it follows its own rhythm, and when you think the action sequence is over, you're wrong. It just keeps going and going and going beautifully until it has a very unexpected but strangely organic ending to it. And then on top of that, of course, all the contrasting animation styles, one on top of the other, which is something that you are told repeatedly when you make movies that is something that you shouldn't do, that you don't want to throw anything in the movie that's jarring to the audience. But now we have two movies, coincidentally, dealing with the multiverse, that use contrasting styles all the way through, one being this movie and the other one being Everything Everywhere All at Once, that somehow, some way, magically make it work. That take that rule and tells it to go F itself. We're going to make this work. We're going to have contrasting filmmaking styles, animation styles, visual styles, color palettes, and make them work. And it's like witnessing a miracle, especially if you've worked in this field. I love how this movie starts with Gwen Stacy's, or Spider-Gwen, I should say, storyline. It is such a great comic book story, and such a great retelling of the Spider-Man mythology, and I'm so happy that it was immortalized in film, and that now mass audiences are going to get to see it, get to see things from her point of view and what she went through. There's such a beautiful variation on her tale, and just excellently established, and that if this would have been any other type of movie, the studio probably would have given the filmmakers the note, like, oh no, this movie needs to start with Miles. It needs to get to Miles as quickly as possible because he's the main character. And again, they take those conventions and they say, no, we're not going to start with Miles. We're going to start with Gwen because she's an essential piece, and we're going to take our sweet time and slowly establish her story. And then, when that's done, then we're going to go to Miles. Again, just one thing after the other about this film that is just so bold and so well done. And I can't express my respect and admiration enough. If you saw my Super Mario Brothers review, which, or my E-Rant, I should say, it's not formal enough to be a review, on my Patreon page, you know that one of my major issues with that movie, a movie that's really good and really fun and that I liked very much, but one of my major issues is how bad a lot of the voiceover was in that film. At least half the cast just was not good at voiceover. This movie, again, they assembled such a great cast, lots of on-camera talent, lots of it, but people who can do it. I'm not against on-camera actors doing voiceover, as long as they are good at it, and the people that they chose for this film are excellent at it. I cannot compliment everybody enough. Oscar Isaac, Andy Samberg as Scarlet Spider, Jake Johnson as our Spider-Man, but grown up and with child now, Jason Schwartzman as the Spot, and of course the infinitely talented, the guy who I honestly believe there is nothing he can't do, Shameik Moore as Miles Morales. However, the MVP of this movie, the person who had crucial scene after crucial scene after crucial scene and nailed it every single time, was this young lady right here, Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen, aka Spider-Woman, aka Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her. Just excellent. Just some of her best performances in her career, that already has had one amazing performance after the other. Especially the scenes that between Gwen Stacy and her father, Captain George Stacy, played by a very underrated actor, amazing character actor called Shea Wingham. Just beautifully played, dramatic, excellent moments. Excellent acting, and it was done through their voices perfectly, just accentuated by the amazing animation, but just great work, amazing work. One thing to add as far as the animation is just one beautiful art piece after the other, and at the top of this video I said how this movie should win an Oscar, but I think just the shot that blew my mind, that was like, ooh, like this needs to already win all the awards, was the shot when Gwen and Miles are on top of a building having a very personal and intimate conversation, and Gwen idly walks to the edge of one of the building spires that sticks out of the building and overlooks the city, and she walks onto the spire, and the camera is behind her. Anyway, the camera would be here, and then she walks around the spire to underneath it, and the camera follows her, and you see the city go, drop my pen, and you see the city go upside down. Just that shot alone, woo, and then every other amazing visual after that, but just that shot alone was just that is cinema, Marty. That's cinema. Anyway, so let's get into the super duper 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 spoilery territory. This is it. This is the point of no return. If you haven't seen the movie, you were warned. All right, so there were two big surprises for me, and I'm sure there will be many more when I rewatch the movie that I will see, because I feel like I will be finding Easter eggs and new things about this movie for the rest of my life. But the first big surprise for me was seeing Donald Glover as the Prowler in the Spider Society headquarters. So I literally just did a video talking about the Deadpool animated series and how that whole experience might have damaged Donald Glover's reputation with Marvel, and maybe the two of them were not getting along anymore. Especially, and my theory was strictly based on the fact that Donald Glover appears in the first Spider-Man home movie, the first Spider-Man MCU movie, as Aaron Davis, who becomes the Prowler, but then he doesn't appear in the next two MCU Spider-Man movies. I am so happy that I'm wrong. That I guess if there is some animosity, it's not enough to fully exclude him. Even if there is, apparently it's not enough to get in the way of the filmmakers including him in this film and showing us his version of Aaron Davis fully realized as the Prowler. However, Amy Pascal, who is the Sony producer that's in charge of Spider-Man, she's the has been the liaison between Sony and the makers of the Spider-Man movies from the beginning. She has promised that if this movie does well, they will put a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie into production, and I hope that's true. I hope that's not idle talk, because I need to know what happens between Aaron meeting Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming and him getting captured, him becoming the Prowler, and then getting captured by one of the members of the Spider Society and being put in that holographic cell. I need to know what happens between that movie and this movie. Because that would be awesome. I would love to see Donald Glover like in full Prowler regalia, playing the character to the character's full extent. And the second big surprise, the one that made me, raise my butt out of my seat and point at the screen like Leonardo DiCaprio, was the appearance of my favorite Spider-Man, and I hope is your favorite should be everybody's favorite Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, played by Josh Keaton, who not only had like a brief cameo. They used a shot from the actual cartoon when explaining canon events to Miles. And you see that and you think, okay, I guess they threw us a bone and we're done. That's the last we're gonna see of Spectacular Spider-Man. And then, boom, he appears front and center. He's right there talking to Miles and trying to explain to him why canon events are crucial and why Miles needs to let this horrible thing that's going to happen to his dad happen, because you can't make a Spider-Man without tragedy. It was wonderful. Like, for weeks on Twitter, Josh Keaton has been teasing that he might not be in the movie, that his appearance in the movie will be a blink and you'll miss it moment, that not to get disappointed if you don't see him in the film, blah, blah, blah. Making it sound like it was just going to be like a, just his character standing in the background. But no, he's there. He's front and center. He speaks. You hear his voice come out of his character's, mouth under his mask. So just deeply appreciated. My only complaint, the only negative thing that I have to say about this entire movie, and it's a dumb fanboy gripe, is that at the end, when Gwen assembles her team of spider people to go help Miles, I believe that Spectacular Spider-Man should be a part of that team. I mean, as long as they want that team to be successful and they legitimately want to help Miles. But that's just my opinion. So, apparently, what I said at the top of this video, that this movie is just the first half of a two-part story, is not common knowledge, because when this movie ended and you saw the to be continued caption box, there was a resounding no. Like, there was just fury, just pure, like, you could feel that, like, a really good vibe throughout the whole movie, everybody having a good time. And when that caption came up, the vibe completely changed. Like, everybody just like, no, which is great. You should always leave your audience wanting more. That's good. But at the same time, I'm just blown away that this day and age, when you can pick up your phone and find out anything that you want to know, that people don't know that. They didn't know that it was a two-part story. So there you go. We won't see the second half until March of next year. I knew this, but even if I didn't know that, I think I would still be okay with it, because it was the most comic book thing that happened in the movie, that it continued. You're reading a comic and you're really into it, and boom, it continues, and you have to wait a month. A month for the next issue. Now we have to wait just a few months. I know it's longer than a month, but it drives me crazy how impatient people are these days, and how they want things right now, right this second, when this movie was delayed twice. And let me tell you something, it was worth the wait. Okay, so I'm okay. Wait until March to see the second half. I'm 100% okay. It is my personal opinion that, as somebody who consumes a lot of this media, who consumes a lot of superhero media, genre films, genre shows, a lot of Spider-Man stuff, that this movie gives you so much action, so much content, so much Spider-Man, that you should be at least, 90% satisfied, even if you're the most voracious fan. But again, that's just my opinion. If it's still like want more Spider-Man, then go home and watch some of the cartoons and watch some of the movies, all right? But be patient, because this movie was delayed multiple times, and it ended up being great. It ended up being worth the wait. So just a few months, you get to see the second half. Relax. I really, really, really hope they stick the landing and they give us the the ending that this movie deserves, because that's all it's missing. It's just missing a good ending and refined. Like, everything else so far was incredible. In fact, you might even say that it's amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to my insane fanboy ramblings. I hope I didn't overhype the movie for those of you who haven't seen it, but you were warned that there would be spoilers in this video, so there you go. Enjoy the movie, and if you agree or disagree with me, it doesn't matter. Feel free to say so in the comment section below. Just please, no fighting, respect each other's opinions, be kind. We're all on the same team. And as per usual, thank you so much for your ongoing support, because I could not do what I do without you.